The next step is to put the seagrass in. And as you look down here, if we lash the rim on, then you see the insides of these spokes. If you look at old baskets that were made many, many years ago, if they're still around, you'll see that they didn't use something like this because their baskets were used every day. This is more of a decorative basket. Even though it has some uses, it's more of a decorative basket. So I started and stopped the inside rim on this side and the outside rim on this side, and I did that so that I can start the seagrass on one of these sides. When I take the clothespin off, these wouldn't come apart. If I were to start it over here, I would take that clothespin off and the rims would just kind of fly apart. When I put this in there, I'm going to put it so that the end is about in the middle there. So I take it out. You have to put the clothespin back on, because if you don't put the clothespin back on, it's just all going to come apart. And that's not always obvious to everyone, so don't think I'm silly for saying that. Now when I take this off, it is going to kind of fly apart here, but that's okay. You can lay this in here and then just put it right back together. When you put the clothespins on, put them down. Don't put them on with just the tops right up here, because they don't stay secure when you're kind of knocking this around, as I'm going to do in the next step. So just really push it down. That's why the longer clothespins are easier to work with, I think, because the shorter ones just don't go down that far. I have a mixture here, though, of shorter and longer ones. And I don't care about smaller baskets, but when I have the larger ones, I want the large clothespins. So again, I just let that inside rim just kind of come apart and then put it right back together. Now we're coming up on the end. Right over here, if it's hard to get this in here, you just push it down, or you can just pull the inside rim kind of out like this. And it doesn't hurt anything to do that, so that you can lay it in. Not a problem at all. It's wet, so it's not going to break. We're here to the end, and we don't want this to overlap. It would be really ugly if we overlapped it. So I'm going to cut this flush with the end so that it meets. So I'm going to be holding this in a way that it's going to be difficult for you to see exactly how I cut it. So I'm going to show you with my fingers. So this is the one end, and this is the other end. And I'm going to just butt them up right against each other. I'm not going to overlap. Just butt them up together. And the reason I started in the center is because if you remember when I showed you about when I'm going to lash, it's going to be at an angle, so that will help cover that. So I'm going to turn this, and I don't know, Edie's pretty good with the camera. She might be able to.
If it blurs out, I'm sorry.
So
try to stay far enough back and yet close enough.
That's a little long. So just like hair, when you get a haircut, and last time I got a haircut, a lot came off. And it's taking a long time to grow back. Snip a little tiny bit more. Now the seagrass, I covered seagrass in a prior segment. And as I said, it is a grass. It's a type of grass that grows in the ocean. And it's hand twisted. And I think they do all the hand twisting and processing in China. Now that we have the basket up to this point, and this looks really good, the final step is going to be lashing or lacing on the rim. So please join me for that segment.